Look at your own behavior. You are constantly waiting for a reply, shrinking your entire existence just to stay an option for someone who does not care about you. You are bleeding out your dignity for free. Today, we end this embarrassing desperation. I am handing you the 5 ruthless, stoic laws to weaponize your silence and reclaim your absolute dominance. This is not some soft relationship advice. This is a literal weapon designed to make them feel the suffocating weight of your absence. You are actively choosing to be a pathetic victim, handing your power to people who view you as entirely disposable. Stop chasing and become untouchable now. Rule 1. The power of withdrawal. Welcome to rule number 1. The power of withdrawal. The absolute fastest way to destroy your own value is to constantly chase someone who does not value you. Every single time you wait anxiously by your phone, instantly reply to a delayed message, or shrink your personality just to fit into someone else's life, you are actively handing over your sovereignty. You mistakenly believe you are showing love or dedication, but you are broadcasting pure fear. You are showing them that you are terrified of being alone, and humans instinctively disrespect anything that feels desperate. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus stated that no man is free who is not master of himself. If your emotional stability depends on whether or not someone texts you back, you are not a free individual. You are a prisoner to their validation. You must recognize that your persistent availability completely ruins your perceived worth in their eyes. People always ignore what feels common. To break these invisible chains, you must master the lethal art of withdrawal. Stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Stop launching into emotional paragraphs to defend your actions against those who are deliberately acting cold. Your constant reactions are nothing but cheap noise, and noise completely destroys your authority. When you constantly overcommunicate, you become desperately predictable, and predictable people are remarkably easy to dismiss without a second thought. You must become extremely comfortable with the profound weight of your own silence. Silence is not empty. It is a highly pressurized weapon. When you stop reaching out, you instantly force them to confront the terrifying void of your absence. You remove the emotional safety net they have been taking for granted. Marcus Aurelius observed that the best revenge is simply not to be like your enemy. Do not mirror their childish games. Do not sink into their chaotic drama. If they choose to step away, let them walk right out the door without a single word of protest. You hold your ground like an immovable mountain. Channel every ounce of that wasted chasing energy back into your own physical and mental expansion. When you genuinely stop needing their superficial attention, your entire aura becomes incredibly magnetic. True power is not forcefully gripping onto people. It is possessing the unshakable confidence to let them go. You are destroying your own empire to build a temporary shack for someone who is just passing through. Cut the supply and let them starve. Rule 2. Absolute emotional control. Welcome to rule number 2. Absolute emotional control. Your raw emotions are a phenomenal source of power, but the exact second you allow anger, sadness, or sheer desperation to dictate your physical actions, you instantly surrender the throne of your own life. The most devastating mistake you can make when someone ignores you or tests your boundaries is giving them the chaotic reaction they are secretly craving. When you desperately send out massive paragraphs of text, bitterly argue over trivial details, or emotionally explode to defend your fragile ego, you think you are fighting for your dignity. In reality, you are exposing your deepest vulnerabilities. The person provoking you can literally feel that internal chaos, and it provides them with a twisted sense of absolute superiority over your mental state. Reacting impulsively is exceptionally easy. Anyone can be provoked into throwing a childish tantrum. True mastery, however, is remaining silent and devastatingly calm when every single fiber of your being is desperately screaming at you to react. That terrifying level of restraint is the ultimate definition of modern Stoic discipline. The legendary philosopher Epictetus explicitly stated that it is never what happens to you, but exactly how you choose to react to it that actually matters. Burn this ancient truth permanently into your conscious mind. You cannot control how other people behave. You cannot force genuine kindness, and you cannot aggressively demand loyalty from a fundamentally flawed human being. but you possess complete, unquestionable dominion over your own calculated response. When they suddenly go cold, you must stay perfectly steady and warm within. When they actively try to provoke you, you must refuse to shatter under their pressure. You must breathe slowly, analyze the situation with extreme precision, and choose your next move like an elite warrior carefully selecting a lethal weapon. This supreme level of emotional control deeply confuses manipulative people. They fully expect dramatic chaos. You hand them terrifying composure. They expect endless tears. You hand them unbreakable dignity. This profound psychological contrast shakes them far more violently than any angry speech ever could. You must actively train your internal architecture every single day so that absolutely nothing in the external world can successfully penetrate your mental armor. You simply observe their frantic actions without absorbing their toxic energy into your own spirit. True strength is never about suppressing your dark emotions. It is about domesticating them into a fiercely obedient army. Manipulators practically beg you to lose your temper because a highly emotional mind is entirely defenseless and incredibly easy to conquer. Hold the line and crush their chaos. Rule 3. The fortress of boundaries. Welcome to rule number 3. The fortress of boundaries. If you do not proactively establish strict personal limits, the external world will mercilessly test your endurance until you completely break. When you constantly forgive blatant disrespect, immediately answer late-night messages from bored individuals, and always say yes to protect the feelings of others, you are silently teaching them that your precious time has absolutely zero value. And when your time has zero perceived value, nobody will ever truly respect your presence. This is exactly why your sudden absence hurts them infinitely more than your desperate chasing ever could. For the very first time in their lives, they finally hit a massive, impenetrable wall. For the first time, they actually feel the severe consequences of their own toxic actions. That massive wall is your boundary, and you must construct it with absolute steel. Marcus Aurelius famously declared that you possess absolute power over your internal mind, not external events. That distinct power is vividly displayed when you firmly decide exactly what behavior you will accept and what behavior you will ruthlessly reject. Setting a boundary is not acting cold. It is an act of supreme discipline. You must stop owing anyone an exhausting explanation for choosing your own peace of mind. Stop feeling guilty for quietly stepping away from mixed signals, intentional neglect, or manipulative emotional games. The manipulative people around you desperately want closure, endless answers, and tearful apologies because it keeps you permanently trapped in their toxic courtroom. But your life is not a courtroom, and you do not need to present any evidence to justify your quiet exit. When they aggressively cross the line, you simply detach and move forward without a single word. That silent departure permanently removes their access to your energy and thoroughly confuses them far more than any angry argument ever could. It proves beyond any doubt that you value your sovereign peace far too much to fight for basic human respect. You protect your mental space like an elite guardian, instantly removing anyone who constantly brings unnecessary chaos. True sovereignty is not aggressively fighting to be heard. It is removing your presence so powerfully that your silence becomes deafening. The world actively profits off your chronic inability to say no, hoping you remain a convenient stepping stone. Raise the gates, protect your peace. Rule 4. The weapon of solitude. Welcome to rule number 4. The weapon of solitude. You must face this terrifying reality head-on and completely stop running away from your own quiet company. The average people are absolutely terrified of profound solitude because they mistakenly believe that prolonged silence equals an agonizing, unbearable emptiness. This fear is exactly why they constantly chase cheap attention from the wrong people, willingly accepting insignificant crumbs of validation rather than simply sitting quietly with their racing thoughts. Do not ever make that humiliating mistake. You must instantly flip the script and weaponize your isolation. Being completely alone is never a punishment. It is the ultimate psychological preparation for greatness. When someone ignores you or abruptly pulls away, you suddenly get countless hours and massive amounts of pure mental energy handed back to you. Do not waste 1 second stalking their social media profiles or obsessively replaying dead conversations endlessly in your head. That behavior is the ultimate form of self-inflicted weakness and profound disrespect to yourself. Instead, you must brutally lock in. You use this intense period of isolation as a relentless, unforgiving training ground to ruthlessly sharpen your mind and build an indestructible, dominant physical vessel. The legendary emperor, Marcus Aurelius, powerfully wrote that nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Your internal mind is your ultimate impenetrable refuge. If you cannot sit perfectly at peace with yourself, you will always remain a desperate, chained slave, completely dependent on the highly unreliable validation of others. You must intensely train yourself to actually enjoy your own majestic, commanding presence. Eat your meals without any digital distraction, walk in pure silence, and meticulously design your future unstoppable empire. When you successfully master prolonged solitude, something incredibly terrifying happens to your enemies. You permanently, entirely stop needing anyone. And when you stop needing people, you instantly become dangerously, undeniably magnetic. They can physically feel your fierce, untouchable independence and your unbreakable, silent calm. That quiet self-reliance makes you fundamentally untouchable. Stop seeing emotional distance as a heartbreaking loss and start seeing it as a massive, unmatched tactical advantage in this war. Turn your lonely nights into explosive power. Build yourself violently in shadows until you no longer fear an empty room. True independence is not just surviving the dark isolation. It is thriving so aggressively that the world begs to be let in. You are bleeding out your potential because you would rather be surrounded by parasites than stand alone as a king. Embrace the silence and forge your armor. Rule 5, Ruthless Evolution. Welcome to Rule number 5, Ruthless Evolution. The absolute most devastating revenge you can possibly inflict upon someone who ignored you is not found in heated arguments, carefully crafted words, or desperate attempts to prove your worth. The ultimate revenge is brutal, undeniable elevation. It is leveling up your entire existence so incredibly high that the foolish people who once overlooked you can no longer even reach your shadow. When you decisively choose relentless personal growth over chaotic emotional reaction, you secure a permanent, untouchable victory. You must completely stop wasting your vital energy focusing on their insignificant movements or pathetic daily routines. Stop desperately wondering if they finally noticed your silence, because that is still a form of mental slavery. Instead, you must instantly redirect that burning power inward and construct a reality so massively successful that their previous absence becomes utterly irrelevant. Seneca warned us that while we foolishly wait for life, life rapidly passes us by. Do not sit around like a helpless victim, waiting for an ignorant person to finally realize your massive inherent value. You must move, act, create, and aggressively improve every single aspect of your waking life. Use every extra minute to violently sharpen your physical body, expand your financial empire, and harden your mental resilience. Hit the gym with absolute fury, devour books that upgrade your tactical thinking, and launch the business you have been constantly delaying. You must transform yourself so radically that when they inevitably look back, they barely even recognize the powerful titan you have become. Remember that genuine success is incredibly loud without ever needing to make a single sound. When you successfully forge this elite version of yourself, your undeniable results speak on your behalf, and profound confidence radiates effortlessly. If you chase people, you will forever feel incredibly small and entirely powerless. But when you relentlessly chase ambitious goals, you become an unstoppable, terrifying force of nature. Let your daily iron discipline become your definitive answer, and your staggering improvement become your ultimate closure. True power is not begging the world to finally respect you. It is commanding respect through the undeniable weight of your massive achievements. You are actively betraying your own massive potential by mourning the temporary loss of someone who never actually saw your true worth. Rise up, evolve, and conquer your reality. Listen to me very carefully. You have officially reached the end of this strict initiation. You now possess the exact blueprints to stop being a pathetic victim and finally build an unbreakable mental fortress. But raw knowledge without immediate, Brutal execution is completely worthless. The world does not care about your fragile feelings. It only respects your undeniable strength. Now it is your turn to step up, claim your absolute sovereignty, and make your absence permanently unforgettable. If you are truly ready to dominate your daily reality and stop begging for basic respect, you must take action right now. Hit that subscribe button, leave a massive like, and type the exact words "I choose myself" in the comments below. This proves to me that you actually survived this far and are genuinely committed to this elite path. The weak will always fade away into nothingness, but the strong will remain and rebuild. Click the video appearing on your screen right now to actively continue your intense training. Your presence is an elite privilege, never a guarantee. Choose yourself. Right now.